Hello, welcome back to my Let's Play series of Minecraft. This is episode 9, and we're starting the episode by going back inside to safety. Now, apologies for the lack of updates recently. It's been almost a month since my last video. This has mainly been due to a few things. There was hopefully going to be some updates to Minecraft itself. Those haven't come about yet, but the updates, some of the updates have been revealed. The main update being dogs or wolves. Some people are calling them dogs, some people are calling them wolves, which are a new pet that can help you fight and stuff like that. You can check other videos out for them. The other reason is I've just been doing digging snow, and digging for snow isn't the most exciting thing to watch. It isn't even the most exciting thing to do, but it has to be done. I've gathered almost nine full stacks of snow, plus what I've built on the outside, which I'll go and check out shortly. But you can see my Tudor house is now 10 blocks high, I think it is. And I'll tell you what we'll do while we're waiting. We'll go and sleep. I've decided I'm only actually going to use the beds for Let's Play episodes, because it helps to film everything during the day. This bed is occupied. I've not seen that before. I don't see anybody in it. Is this a bug? That's interesting. This bed is occupied. I don't see anybody in it. Well, it's not letting me sleep in it, so we're just going to have to carry on, but I'm going to have to check that out on the forums and see if anybody's found that. I wonder if I break it and make a new one, whether it would let me sleep in it. In fact, let's find out. I just want to do that again so I've got video proof. This bed is occupied. Okay. Now I'm not sure what happens when you break a bed. You just get the bed back itself. Okay, so I don't have to make a new one. There we go. It's no longer occupied even. That was a weird one though, I've never had that before. Well, that makes for something interesting. I'll report that on the forums tomorrow morning. You can see my the structure of my house starting to take shape. Still got a long way to go yet though, even just for the basic structure. Another thing I want to show you before we go outside, while we wait for those few mobs to die. I've installed my first mod, and it's an easy to use mod. It's really easy to install and get the hang of, and I like it. But you may be biased depending on how you prefer your Minecraft, but I'll show you what it is. It's this. It's the Too Many Items by Marglyph. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I saw it on somebody else's YouTube video when I was looking for inspiration for something I'm working on, which I'm not going to reveal just yet. And they were using this mod with their own texture pack, and I thought this looks pretty good because it can be useful, and it's more or less an inventory editor, a bit like Invedit, although I've never used Invedit. And it gives you everything that's in Minecraft you can get, even the stuff that you can't get normally through vanilla Minecraft, such as the chain armor, the chainmail armor, all of it. And what else was the... Oh, the cocoa beans, which you cannot craft. They took them out because there was no viable options for making cocoa, whereas everything else, like the lapis lazuli you get from mining, and the cactus green and the lime dyes come from cactus and so on, but there was nothing really viable for the cocoa beans, but you can get those with that. But that's not the main purpose of this. The only reason I've got this is because I'm doing two things other than my Let's Play. I'm doing well, I'm trying to do some sort of adventure game style quest type thing that there's been a lot of recently on the Minecraft forums. Some are good, some are not so good. I believe the one I was playing a few days ago was Scapecraft 3. I think I'm gonna have to double check that, but I know there was 3 of the same variety that were all fairly good and well played out, actually, considering this is just a sandbox game. And it inspired me to want to try something like that myself, but it needs a lot of work, and doing it legit would be fun, but it would just take up too much time, so this is the reason for this. The other reason for it is it allows me to go into new maps, randomly generated maps or whatever, or a test map that I'll be using, and I can set up anything I want because I've got everything available. So designs for mob traps, new building designs, traps in general, you know, anything you can think of, I can do it without the hassle. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing legit, and everything in my Let's Play is legit, and everything on most of my other worlds is legit as well. This is just a practical tool for doing other stuff, but I usually have it turned off like that, so I don't even get tempted to use it, because if you're running around like that and you run out of a pickaxe, it's just way too easy to go, oh yeah, I'll have one of them, and pop it in there. So I turn it off to forget about it, but I will add the link to my description to the mod for anybody that wants to try it. It's really easy to install. I installed it manually, I didn't use any mod loaders or anything like that, and it worked first time, no problem. But anyway, let's move on from that. Oh, I should also note, I'm now running at full resolution again, 1920 by 1080. So we should get 720 easily. I might not get 1080 when I upload to YouTube. I'm going to try something new, which I was reading on a post by Grim Skellington on how to record in HD. And he says it was either him or somebody that posted on his behalf in the thread, to use a certain resolution when you're uploading videos to YouTube to get the 720 HD without using up tons and tons of space uploading, because you get it scaled down anyway with YouTube. So we're going to try this and see if it works. So we should definitely be back up to 720 by the time you're watching this. Alright. Let's have a look around. In fact, I need one more thing before we go out. If I've got any. Whoa. Thanks, Mr. Creeper, you just blew up half my treehouse. Nice. He must have followed me up the ladder. I thought I saw something moving under there, but I didn't think it was a creeper. So I've lost a workbench and I think a workbench and a furnace. There we go. I'm in shock, I'm speechless. That's the first time that's ever happened, and how many minutes of Let's Play have I done and not recorded Let's Play stuff? That was interesting. It wasn't nice, but it was interesting. That'll teach me not to put a door on my treehouse. I can't even remember what I had. I think it was just glass, so I better fill this floor in anyway, to start off with. It's a good job I can record longer for YouTube now. That was the other thing I was about to mention, is I can record longer than 15 minutes now, at last. Which is just as well, otherwise this 15 minutes would have been used up by exploding creepers and talking about mods. And that wouldn't have been much fun. He even took out a hole in the roof. I'm going to have to watch that back in a bit and see if that was a creeper just under there. I've had stuff climb up before. I had a skeleton climb up once, but they're not as destructive as a creeper, they're just annoying. I've never had a creeper climb up before. But oh well, it wasn't a total loss, although I am tempted to move the contents of that chest now. I'm lucky I didn't lose that mean, there's only really the diamonds in the iron ore that would be sorely missed, and maybe the gunpowder. So yes, we're maybe moving that. Okay, I need some glass. I probably don't have any. Oh, I do. Alright, I think that's what it looked like. May have been an extra piece of wood in there. I'm going to have to put a door on that, I think. I don't really want to put a door on it because it just makes it look ugly, but I don't want another creeper climbing up there and blowing the chest to smithereens. But I think a wooden door will do the job. Oh, that's what I needed. I need some more wood, and I need some cobblestone, which I haven't got, but we can worry about that in a minute. Fun, fun, fun. It's about time this Let's Play got exciting. Alright, workbench. Furnace will have to wait till there was coal in that furnace as well. But oh well. As they say, you can't take it with you when you die. Which is probably a good thing in Minecraft. Now is it going to even let me put a door in? I don't think it will because there's a step there. Think. Oh, I know what I'll do. It's going to make everything look a bit smaller, but it'll do for now. A bit ugly, but it does the job. I might take that out actually and move it one forward. Or just leave it out altogether. Or up at the sides. I don't know. I'll leave it like that for now because we're using up precious time. I don't really need the cobblestone right now either. But I'll get that and replace the furnace that I lost. And now I'm just looking to see if I've got any food. I don't have any food either. Yeah, we're doing a Let's Play, let's get prepared. Yeah, right. And it's almost, we wasted a whole Minecraft day getting blown up and talking about mods. So, let's see if I can sleep again. Which is still confusing me. I don't ever remember seeing anybody reporting that on the forums. Well, let's let me sleep straight away. Am I going to get woken up? No. At least that's something. Alright, so we need some food and then we can go and start work, or continue work, on the Tudor house. And that was the wrong thing to do. I actually came back up just to shut the door just in case. Like that. I spy a pig. Bit of a waste of arrows really. I should make a stone sword. Oh nice, that'll do. I think I'll just eat them as they are, without cooking them. And yeah, they only give 1.5 each, but it'll do. I'm slowly despising cows. They're just annoying and noisy and talk all over me when I'm doing Let's Plays. And as you can see, they're out in full force. No mobs though about, which is nice. No creepers creeping up behind me and blowing my house to smithereens. Be interesting to find out, thinking about this, is the resistance of snow blocks, because each block has a resistance compared to explosions, which usually means TNT, but I suppose it applies with creepers as well. Whether it has more resistance or less resistance to wood, I would imagine less, but you never know. Minecraft can be an odd game like that. Annoying cows. Alright, I need to dig up some dirt so we can make a makeshift scaffolding. Oh, you might also notice there was a small sort of hill here. I flattened it out because I realised that when I'm in my house, no matter how big my windows were, I wasn't going to be able to see over it from ground level, and I'd probably only just be able to see over it from the next story up the top floor. So there was a mountain where this smooth stone was. Not a mountain, more of a hill. It wasn't as big as that, but it wasn't as small as that. It's sort of in between. It's where I got my first bunch of snow from, actually. You could probably go back in previous videos and check it out. So I flattened that out, which didn't take too long. It took longer than I thought, but it didn't take too long. So now there's a view going that way, sort of. There's no view that way still, but I don't intend to flatten that out because it'll take forever. And there's a good view going that way. And then there'll be somewhat of a view going that way, but only from the top floor. But again, I don't intend on flattening all this out because it'll just take way too long. Although if I get stuck for something to do, it's there as a backup. Now, we may need a few more blocks actually. This next layer of the Tudor house has to come out a bit. I'm just debating how many blocks to bring it out. Do I bring it out one, or do I bring it out a few? Of the little sketch that I'm working off, it has a second layer. In fact, I'll try and link the picture into the description so you can check out what I'm sort of roughly basing my design off, but it has a second tier which is slightly larger than the lower tier. I guess this was common for Tudor houses because I saw it in a lot of them, and also a lot of them seem to have a window in the roof, so there's an attic or a loft of some description, so that's something to consider as well. But I'm going to try this with dirt first so I don't waste the snow. Now I think that's going to be enough, but I wonder if 2's too much. Yeah, I think 2. I think 1's enough. Oh, that reminds me actually, speaking of snow. A question for all you Minecraft players out there. When you're digging for snow, the snowballs only go up to a maximum of 16 and not 64. So if anybody knows why that is, why it doesn't go up to 64 like practically everything else, answers on a postcard, let me know. If nobody knows, then I'll probably ask on the forums, and if nobody on the forums knows, I'll probably make a Twitter account and Twitter to Notch. But I imagine somebody knows. But yeah, it was driving me mad going to dig for snow, and it would fill my inventory up really quick. I went out the other day, I took 6 shovels and a compass and went really far over in this direction, way over past those mountains. It takes me more or less a day from treehouse to snow, a Minecraft day to get there, and another day to get back. That's how far it is. And yeah, it was filling up my inventory really fast, and it gets really annoying. And if they're stacked into 64, it would be much easier. I could gather twice as much snow, maybe 4 times as much technically, but you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, stacks of 16 doesn't really add up. Right, get rid of that. And put in the proper stuff. So that's basically what the next tier is going to be. I may go higher, I may go smaller. I need to recount that. I'm fairly certain it's 10, so I may go 10 again, but I'll go a minimum of 10 and see how it looks. I may need to go higher just to make it look proper. I need to check something though. I could be wasting a stack of snow. Yeah, I was going to take that bottom layer of snow out, but I think it looks better with that. So we'll leave it in. It's weird to do this sort of designing on the fly. I normally just plan something out either with a rough sketch or in PaintShop Pro. Just design the basics just to get the dimensions down, really. But this has totally been more or less on the fly, apart from that one particular sketch that I was mentioning a few minutes ago, just to give me some ideas of designs for the black design that'll be going on the outside, and whether to put it on the inside as well, or whether to just have it on the outside. One thing I was thinking about, it was a bit too late now, but is what the design inside a Tudor house is like, because I've never actually been in one. We had a few in the town where I grew up, but there's none in the place where I currently live, and it's not the sort of thing you can find on Google. So if anybody's got any input on that, let me know. I know we're limited with designs on Minecraft, but we've got coloured wool now, along with all the other coloured blocks, so we could do something. I was thinking maybe wooden beams, because that's basically what the black design is. It's dark wood, maybe even painted wood, I'm not sure. Alright, nearly done. I'm going to need a lot more snow though. Luckily I still know where there's a decent supply of snow in that place I was just describing, but I've taken out the easy stuff to get. The harder stuff is going to be a bit more tricky. Not tricky as in tricky to get, but tricky to get a lot of, because it's all like little steps and bumps in a mountain with 1 or 2 pieces on, and you can only get stacks of 16, which I've already said, which is annoying in itself. And it's going dark again. That day didn't seem to last fairly long. Interesting little fact, which I only knew about or found out about the other day, is that the nights are shorter than the days in Minecraft. Notch made it that way apparently, which is nice, because before there was beds, you pretty much have to sit out the night if you're designing, or turn it on to peaceful. I've just realised here it's going to be dark and there's going to be mobs about before I get back to my treehouse. So I may end up with another creeper visit, which could be interesting. Oh, that was clever. Yeah, that's really clever. In fact, I'm not even going to bother to recraft it, I'll just put the blocks in. should have just brought the bed with me and plonked it down in the middle. Right then. Do I make a jump for freedom? Or do I sit out? I've messed up really because I've put my dirt stack right under where I need to be. Yep, it's too far down. So I'm gonna have to scale down a bit with what I've got, and then do a leap of faith. Not bad. I lost another 2 hearts. Now I've just got to get out. Sounds like there's something behind me. There's a skeleton and 2 spiders on the beach over there. Yep, there's a creeper behind me. I thought that was another creeper for a second, but it was just that one hissing as he died. Glad I didn't take that one upstairs with me. Redesigning twice in one episode. Alright, drop that off. Craft up those few balls of snow. Didn't end up getting any cobblestone, but never mind. Drop off that bit of gunpowder and hit the bed. YouTube has told me I can record for longer than 15 minutes, but it doesn't specify exactly how long. So, and I forgot to have a look at the clock when I started recording. But I think I've been going for about 20 minutes, so we'll go for about another 10 and then finish the video off and then see how long it takes to upload it. It's another bright new day, and the bed was not occupied. I'm liking the look of that though. It makes the snow underneath look a bit darker though, but I think that's just the shadow. Hopefully. Let's go check it out. Let's see how many creepers are about today. Plenty of sheep about. I should be bashing them for the wool, but I don't really need it at the minute. The wool's useless without ink sacs, so, and I've not got a lot of them. I left some snow behind apparently. And we have a visitor, just the one. Nice, a bit more gunpowder. And we also want a bit more dirt. So I know this designing isn't very exciting, I missed a block there, that was clever, but there's not much else I can really do, because this is the only thing I'm working on at the minute. The only other thing I can do is go back down into the mine shaft that I did ages ago, but you don't really want to see me mine. You might not even want to see me do this, but that's all you've got, for now anyway. You can always skip it if you don't like it. I know it's not to everybody's taste. Alright, can I sneak that block in there? You can. So basically, unless I fall off and die, this is all I'm going to be doing for the last 10 minutes, so feel free to skip to the end or skip 5 minutes or so. There is some non-Minecraft stuff I could talk about, but I don't know if it's to everybody's taste. But for any fans of Game of Thrones, I'm sure by now you'll notice that there's a series coming out based on the Game of Thrones book by George R.R. Martin. That's looking really good. That and Doctor Who are my two things in April looking forward to. And I'm going to try and do something Minecraft related for Doctor Who. And I'm looking forward to watching a Game of Thrones. Sean Bean as Ned Stark is a great cast. He's finally getting a decent role that's not the bad guy or typical typecast English actor plays the bad guy role, which he always seems to get. With few exceptions I can think of, especially for Hollywood movies. There was one I thought of the other day, and I was going to mention it if I talked about this stuff, and it's gone right out of my head. I'm trying to think who else is in it. Oh, like I said, just skip forward if you're not interested in this. I don't intend to keep you listening about things that you're not interested in, but for those Game of Thrones fans, also let me know if anybody's a Game of Thrones fan, or the fan of the whole series of books. I'm only on book 2 at the minute, recommended to me by a friend, but it's a really good read. Mark Addy plays Robert Baratheon, which is kind of interesting because I wouldn't have him down as playing that particular role, but he suits the role so well. It is what I imagined when I read the book. That's what Robert would look like. Who else is there? What's Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister? That is such a great role for anybody to play, and I think he'll do it justice. From the trailers that that HBO put up on their blog about Game of Thrones, some of his trailers have looked really good. Some of the lesser known characters have been some interesting casting as well. I know I've skipped over a bunch of characters there, important ones, so I just can't think of the names off the top of my head, but the one I find intriguing was Bronn, the Sellsword, Tyrion's mate. He's being played by Jerome Flynn. Anybody in the UK will know who Jerome Flynn is, and if you don't, you probably ask your parents who Robson and Jerome were, for example. And if you do know who Jerome Flynn is, and you know the Robson and Jerome reference, you'll realise how surprising it is to hear somebody like that playing Bronn. Who else? I should have made a list. I haven't heard of all the actors that have been cast, but like I said, some of the lesser known characters have been some really surprising picks. Obviously there's Margaret John, who plays Old Nan. Unfortunately she passed away last month, I think it was, or the month before. UK viewers will know her as Doris from Gavin and Stacey. Yeah, she plays Old Nan, and I believe they filmed all of the scenes, so it's going to be. I imagine there's going to be some sort of tribute to her when the series airs, and she can actually be heard in a couple of the trailers going on about one of the stories and how winter is coming, etc. Who else? See, this really gets by when you start talking about something else. It goes really easily. Aidan Gillen as Peter Baelish. Brilliant choice of actor to play that character. I don't know the full story behind most of these characters because I'm only on book 2, but I'm not a fan of Peter Baelish, but I think the choice of Aidan Gillen to play Peter Baelish is just... it's the best actor you could have picked, because if you've seen any of his other roles, he's quite a good actor, and he plays a good bad guy, and Peter Baelish feels like a bad guy in a Game of Thrones, especially near the end. I won't spoil it for anybody that's not read it though. Lena Headey, however you pronounce her name, apologies for that in advance, plays Cersei Lannister. I forget what roles she's been in, but she's quite a popular actor. One of those that you'd know just by looking at her. Yeah, I should have looked what she's been in, but she's a recognisable face to a UK audience, and I'm pretty sure she's been in some Hollywood produced films. I forget who plays most of the Starks, because I know the Stark children are all relatively new actors and actresses. The only one that I can remember other than Ned is Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark, because I love that character, and she looks exactly how I imagined Arya Stark to be. Arya and Ned and Robert all look how I imagined them when reading the books. All the others sort of similar, and I know there's been a lot of umming and ahhing about certain armours in the series compared to certain armours in the book and how they're described and etc, etc, but I'm not too fussed on that. But it was nice to see some characters actually portrayed identically how they were in the book. And we've probably done another 10 minutes or so, and I think I'm running out of snow. It's quite apt because there's Jon Snow, who's quite a good character. That was my little link there. That I didn't have anywhere to take it though, because I don't know anything about it. Kit Harington, who plays him, but that's another character I like. And the one thing I'm hoping is they just carry on with the series, for each book they do a new series, hopefully, because without spoiling it for anybody that hasn't read the books yet, especially the first book and the second book. The first book ends at the beginning of a war. I won't say who between, but it ends at the beginning of a war, so you don't find out the conclusion of the war until... well, I'm halfway through the second book and you still don't really know who's the clear winner. You just know who isn't going to win. Because they're dead, obviously. So yeah, I'm hoping they're gonna do a second series if this first one's good enough. But if you haven't seen it, I'll stick a link in the descriptions, and you can check out the HBO blog and check out some of the trailers. It's gonna be, even if you're not interested in George R.R. Martin books or A Song of Fire and Ice, I think it's called, the series of books. If you're interested in medieval stuff, and if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. I know people are going to hate me for comparing it to Lord of the Rings, but if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings and that type of literature, media, whatever, then you should check it out, because it's going to be interesting. So I think that filled up 10 minutes of our design time, and we're about halfway through the second tier of this house, and I got through practically all of the snow. So that was, what did I say, 8.5 stacks. So I'm going to have to go and get about another 8.5 to 9 stacks. But hopefully I'll be able to get that done and upload another episode a lot quicker than another month. And I think that's it. I'm going to check out this bug we had with the bed and watch back for that creeper that blew the treehouse up, partially blew it up, and maybe redesign this a little bit. Definitely going to have the door from now on though. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything. So check out the description. If you don't like me talking about Game of Thrones, then let me know. If you do like me talking about Game of Thrones, let me know, and we'll talk about it some more. And yeah, just leave me comments and feedback, anybody that watches these, and I'll keep doing them. If nobody's watching them or don't hear feedback, then I'm less likely to make more. But we'll definitely finish this off no matter what. So yep, thanks, see you next time.